Good morning. Let's make sure. All right, beautiful. Now let me pull this up on my phone. All right, here we are. I think, okay. Just trying to make sure everything is working properly. Oh, I need to do this real quick. Good morning, Wendy. I'm just trying to do all the stuff. Give me a second. All right, beautiful. So, how are you this beautiful morning, Wendy? I know for me, I went to the chiropractor yesterday and he gave me a few exercises that I'm supposed to be doing. And the simplest little exercises. And it's like, ah, good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Great to have you here. So, how are you ladies doing? Very well. And you? Ooh, that's so polite, Wendy. I'm doing well as well. Took the dog on the walk this morning, and I don't know. It's not really that cool out, but I can just feel the fall in the air, or maybe it's wishful thinking. I don't know. Uh, good morning, Lynn. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I'm glad to hear it. Let me just check over here and see if we got anybody popping in. All right. Well, I just created the event for our workshop, and I know it's not convenient for everybody, but when I put the poll up, there was some other times available, and then they got taken. 90 degrees there already. It's 73 here, so it's very pleasant this morning, and the wind was blowing. It just felt amazing. Of course, you are in Miami, Wendy, so I guess it doesn't reach you for a bit. Does it ever get that cool there anyway? I haven't been to Miami in the wintertime, so I don't know. My daughter and I went yesterday. She went with me when I went to the chiropractor, and we went to the coffee shop afterwards. And it was so nice. I haven't done it in a little bit, but it's one of the things that we like to do together. And we got us a coffee and we sat out, and I had my laptop with me. I started working on things and my battery died. And I wasn't sitting anywhere near an outlet, and those places were taken. So it was like, okay, this must be God in the universe telling me, don't be working on this right now. Right? Okay, it will cool down, but not much. Okay. All right. So when it gets really cold here, I'll come visit. How about that? And it's what's funny is I was the health coaching school that I graduated from, where I got a lot of my life coaching and my transformational coaching, my master, all of those from this actual school. We had a retreat, and was it 2017? something like that, in Miami. And to be honest, I think that's the only time I had ever been to Miami. And I think I've been once when I was going to go on a cruise. But just to be able to be in Miami and then walk around and do all that stuff, that's the only time. Good morning, Sean. I see that you're here. Make sure you say hello and let everybody know that you're here as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go into our affirmation for today. Okay, our affirmation is each day I consciously shape my thoughts, creating a life I love. And, we talk a lot about our mindset and how we see the world and all of those different things and how we can reframe um, our thoughts when we recognize negative thought patterns that are going on within us. And, it's and like Shrek says, we're like onions, so there's layers to us. So we can feel really confident as we're start working on something that's coming up. And then we think, oh man, I worked on that. That feels so good. And then in no time, it's like something else shows up. And it's because there's layers to us. And it's not like it's not working. It's just that there was an underlying thing that was going on that hasn't been addressed. And so sometimes those things will start coming up. So it's important to recognize our negative thought patterns and to actively be reframing them, right? Because all of those reframes can actually affect our subconscious mind. And so when we can be self-aware, we can have our positive self-talk, we can encourage each other and ourselves to be proactive in changing. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, yeah. And the thing too is when we are looking at all of this, sometimes, like I've said, I know I say it all the time, and since some of you are here all the time, I know it probably gets like, well, she says it again. But, there may be some people that don't remember, or maybe there's some people that are watching the replay. And by the way, if you're watching the replay, make sure you put hashtag replay. But the thing is that we go through our lives with these ideas, these visions, the lens of the world, right? And we see the world through those filters. And so you can have someone right with you and experiencing the same thing, and they have a totally different view or interpretation of the events because we're looking at things from our lens of the world. So I like to say sometimes that it's almost like all the things that have happened to you in your past, and especially from birth to 7, that's when we really develop our thoughts and our patterns, right? The things that have happened to us, the things that people have said, we internalize those because as a young child, we do not have filters that let us see, oh, that was sarcasm. We don't have filters that was a joke. We don't have filters that person doesn't know what they're talking about. We don't have that. We take everything that is said and done to us as facts, as what we deserve, who we are. And we develop all of that. And it's crazy to think between birth and 7, that's when we develop all of that. And do we even remember birth to 7? Most of the time, no. And it's like we're in this perpetual state of hypnosis at that age. So everything is real. Everything, we just bring it in, right? And so as we go through life, we still have those filters. And so I like to say that it's almost like as we are now, we've got on a pair of glasses, okay, for our lens of the world, and we've got Vaseline on those glasses so we can't see anything clearly. we can only see things through that goop. And that's how we live our lives most of the time, looking at the world through goop, through limiting beliefs, through disempowering thoughts and ideas. I mean, it's really mind-boggling when you sit back and you study all of this and you realize how much of what we believe is us is not. It is through our filter. The we that we recognize most of the time is not really us. It's what other people have said we were. And so that's the beauty of doing this work, is we can start coming out of that shell, peeling those onion layers and seeing what is it that made me or had me feeling like this when this happened. And because one of the things that happens with our subconscious mind is that when we have an event, somebody says something to us, is it doesn't recognize their sarcasm and everything either. But what it does is it goes into our memory banks and says, wait a minute, let's, for those of that is older, our little Rolodex, it goes through our Rolodex and it says, okay, wait a minute. The last time that I felt this way and somebody said this is what happened. So this is what's true about that. And it's an instantaneous thing, right? And so we're all the time being triggered by something. So if you're ever, somebody says something to you and it instantly gets this emotion in you that's not serving you, then they've triggered that in you. And it is something, it's not them, it's something within you. And so we can begin, as we notice these things coming up, we can begin to start looking at them because they don't serve us when things are constantly triggering us, right? And we can basically clean our lenses off so that we can consciously shape our thoughts and create the life we love. Because we're creators. And you know how people are always talking about people are magical manifestors, and they're usually talking about the people that have created these exponentially wonderful lives. They've got things, they've got relationships, and for looking on the outside, they've got an amazing life, right? And they manifested that. But the person that is sitting there, destitute, all by themselves, and just lost, they manifested that too. Because whatever's going on, we manifest it, we create it with our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and then that creates our action. And so when we go and every single day, we consciously decide how we're going to shape our life, how we're going to think and to create the life we love, right? Does that make sense to you guys? And that comes down to so many things within us, right? Let me look over here and see what's going on. And I've been going to the chiropractor once a week for a little bit for my hip and my low back, right? And the thing that's interesting is that I know how emotions play a part in all of these things, right? Like I told you when I first started having the hip issue, it was like, okay, I'm not feeling supported in life. And I know that. So that's where the hip thing came at, right? And then I have my son going into rehab, stressful, right? Even more stressful right now. And so then that's playing a part. And then my back started bothering me, which means I feel like I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders and my back can't hardly hold it up. So I know that about all of this, right? Hello, Ellen. Nice to have you here. And so the knowing allows me to start looking at how can I reframe and see things differently? How can I address these emotional things that are going on in my life that are manifesting in my body? And I did a really cool exercise this morning that I might share on when we do the workshop that was really powerful. And I've done something similar before, but this took it to a whole new level. And so I will definitely be sharing this at some point. And like I said, it may be on the workshop. And so just as a quick reminder, the workshop is Tuesday, August 20th. So next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be live on Facebook. And I may be sending everybody an actual link to get on screen, but we shall see how that's going to happen. I really kind of want to do that. And so we'll work on it. Okay. But it's going to be very powerful, and it's a free workshop. It's something that I wanted to do for you guys to help you through some of these things that we're all dealing with, right? Because I'm not immune to any of this. So don't ever think that I'm saying, I've got this handled, I'm working on you, baby. No. I find that the things that I really need within me are the things that serve you too. And so this is all stuff that is important to me because, like I said, I know that these emotions are playing a part in this, what's going on in my body right now. And so I'm working with the chiropractor, and good morning, Kimmy. And I am working on releasing some of this emotional baggage that I've got going on right now. And to be honest with you, the easy part's going to the chiropractor, right? It's the working on the emotions that can get you bogged down a little bit, right? And so that's what I'm working on right now. So you feel me? So our affirmation for today is each day, every single day of our lives, from here on out, doesn't matter what happened in the past. From this moment on, we consciously shape our thoughts, creating a life we love. So how do you do that? Do you know? There's such a delay. Let me see if I can. Oh, gosh. I keep getting this little thing every now and then when I'm doing these lives in the morning, and it'll say, you're temporarily blocked. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. All right, let's see. Just came across one of my daily I am statements. I have earned the right to be in love with myself. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Yes, Alan. Yes. And I had a conversation with, I had a guest on my podcast yesterday, and we had a big conversation about that because and she's had the same experience. I don't know that I've ever had a client that when I asked them, what is it that you really want in life? What is it that you want to manifest in your life? And they will give me a litany of things that they don't want. That's where every single person, in my experience, starts with, well, I don't want to be broke anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship with some jerk. I don't want, and that's how it all starts. And so it's human nature, I think, is to automatically go to the things that we don't want. And of course, knowing what you don't want helps you to see what you do want, but don't stay there, right? So I love, the focus on what you want, not what you don't want, because that's really, really a powerful thought to hold on to, right? And I love your daily affirmation there. I have earned the right to be in love with myself. And one of the affirmation that I had created for this morning, and I switched it to this one, was I am love and I am loved. So maybe we'll go there tomorrow. We shall see. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share the journal prompt, and make sure with your affirmation that you put it on your sticky note, your index card, the screensaver on your phone. Put it somewhere that you see it during the day, so that it's a reminder to say this to yourself. And remember, when you say it with emotion, with feeling, it's more powerful, because your subconscious mind, remember, doesn't know the difference between things that you say that are real and the things that you say that are not real. It doesn't know. But if you put some emotion behind it, it starts thinking, okay, this must be true. And it starts trying to look for reasons and ways to make that happen. All right, let's see here. If you focus on the positive things and say them out loud, it puts them into the universe. Yes, yes. Not only say them out loud, you got to give it some emotion, some belief, right? And so sometimes you can say things that when you say it, it's like bullshit, right? So then you just have to figure out a way to rephrase it. So it could be like, every day, I am becoming a person who can consciously shape my thoughts. So then that means that it's going to take that angst of that's not really me kind of thing off, right? But it's figuring out how to find that emotion. And one of the things that I help people with a lot of times is to go back into their life and find a time that those words could have been true, and then bring that emotion up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share the journal prompt. Let's see. Oh no, part of it's not showing, but that's okay. Identify reoccurring negative thoughts you've had recently. So this is going to be anything that's been showing up, especially if it shows up on a regular basis. We want to identify some of the things that are going on, because when you identify it and see it, then you can eradicate it. You can get rid of it. But because a lot of the times we don't even see what we're doing and what we're saying. And that's why it's really important to have a coach. That's why it's good to have a friend that will actually say, you've been saying that a lot lately. And then you don't even recognize that you've been doing it. And so it's very powerful to have, let me see if I can redo this. I'm going to take off this part and let's see if it'll pop up right now. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to put this one up because it's got the whole thing. So our journal prompt is identify reoccurring negative thoughts you've had recently. And like I said, it's important to see them. And so, if you can't think of some, maybe ask a friend, have I been saying anything that might be a little bit negative that maybe I didn't recognize? Just see what people say. And then once you dive in and you write out some, and if you only have one, amazing, right? Most of us have more than one. So just write out whatever comes up. And like I've told you before, if you'll take some time to just sit in silence and focus on your breath and just let the mind chatter go away. And it doesn't mean that you're blank slate or anything. It just quiets the chatter a little bit. And then identify the reoccurring negative thoughts that you've had recently. Then just brain dump. And I tell you all the time, don't judge it. Don't say, well, that's not really true. I'm making that up. Don't say any of that stuff. Or if you catch yourself saying it, say, I'm writing it down anyway. Because when your subconscious mind is talking to you, when you can get in this quiet place and it's talking, it's telling you what it believes, regardless of whether you think it's true or not. In your heart, your subconscious does. And that's important information, right? Can you see that? It's important to see what our subconscious mind believes. And then once we've written out a list of things, and it doesn't matter if you have one or if you have 21 or you have 100, whatever it is for you, just write them out. And then see how can you reframe it into a powerful positive belief, right? So like yesterday, I don't know, was it yesterday? I get so turned around sometimes with, because we do this every morning, what day we talked about this, I am enough, right? So if one of your reoccurring negative thoughts is, I don't know enough, I'm too fat, I'm too this, I'm too that, then you can just flip that around with, I am enough just as I am. I am enough right here, right now, right? And so, like, for instance, one of the things that I had struggled my whole life with was my weight, right? And I was about 75 pounds heavier than I am right now when I first started this journey with health coaching and life coaching and everything. However, as I'm in this space right now, do I feel like my body looks exactly like I want it to? No. Do I feel like I'm the exact size I want to be? No. And sometimes I can fall prey to, I'm too fat. I wish my hips weren't so big. I wish, right? I can fall into those places just like anybody else. But I recognize it very quickly now, and I will turn it around and I'll reframe it. I'm always a work in progress. And it's funny because my ex-husband, he and I had many unkind words about my weight because, like I said, I was 75 pounds heavier than I am now. So I was quite large, right? And it drove him bonkers. And so we had many very heated discussions about my size, my weight. And one time I had just enough of it. And I said, listen, because the thing was, I was always on a diet, right? Always on some kind of diet. Then I would be a mad fiend going to the gym. I would be running. I would be doing all these things, and it would work for a while, and then it didn't work. And that was the issue. And it drove him crazy. So one of the things I said to him was, I said that if the day I die, I'm still the size that I am right now, you can say I failed. But until then, I'm a work in progress, and I will keep working toward me, and you be you. And it quieted it for a little bit, but that was how I felt, was like, we are all works in progress. There is not a single solitary human on this earth that is completely happy with every aspect of their lives. If they are, they're lying to you. So even someone who's a multimillionaire, they still want to grow, they still want to do things. And sometimes they start feeling like, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And so we all have our thing, right? And so it's important to recognize what those are. And so, like I said, the way I reframe some of the stuff that comes up for me about my body and my weight is, I'm a work in progress. I'm continually becoming the person that I choose to be. And I let the anxiety, the condemnation, the comparison, I let that go. That could certainly change your life in positive ways. Yes, yes. So it's important to see what you're saying to yourself. And, one of the things, like I've shared before, one of my favorite books is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And the thing that he talks about in there is how there's a reoccurring voice going on in our head all the time. And before you started working on this kind of stuff, and you were aware of that voice in your head and the things it was saying, if you were to go back, I know for me, if I go back to quite a few years ago, before I ever started on this journey with my thoughts and emotions and how they show up and all that stuff, right? Back then, oh my gosh, I would have never said the things that I said to myself to anybody because I would not want to hurt anybody's feelings. I would never say that, but I would say that stuff to myself all the time, right? I was my own worst enemy. I said horrible things to me. And a lot of times they were things that I might have heard somebody said, and then I would expand on it, right? And so if you wouldn't sit with your very best friend, not the friend that's sarcastic and has all the problems, but your very best friend, if you wouldn't sit with them and say the things to them that you say to yourself, then stop it. Start seeing who you are and the magic of being you, and realize that we're all a work in progress. We're all learning and growing and coming all of the time. You know, the thing is that the only constant in life is change. So we either change on purpose, becoming and growing and designing our life, right? Creating this, consciously shaping our thoughts and creating this life we love. We are all working on that. But if we're not, we're still changing. We're just diverting back to old thought patterns, old things that people said. We're just like a ship in the sea being tossed about by the waves and the wind with no direction. And so we get to be the steerer, the captain of our boat if we choose to. And that's what this is about. Let's be our own best captain, our own best friend. So as you identify reoccurring negative thoughts you've had recently, doesn't matter how many they are. And like I said, don't filter it, just let it pour out and write it out. Just log it down, right? As many as come up. Don't judge that either. So this is a process, and it's going to be powerful once you do this, right? So then you look at each one of those and how can you reframe them into a more powerful, positive belief? Flip it on its head. What would you rather it be? If you're experiencing sadness, what would you rather experience? Happiness? Joy? If all of your relationships end up being shit, what would you rather experience? A powerful community of people that you can lean on, that love you? A romantic partner that would love you and encourage you? What do you want, right? So change it, reframe it to a positive belief about what you can have and what you deserve. And then take it one step further. It's delicious. Describe how this new thought might change your actions and experiences today. Because remember, our actions and our experiences in life, they come from here, not from out there. So what do you think? How might these new thoughts change your actions and your experiences today? For one thing, if you think that all the relationships you've had in the past were shit, and you turn that around and you say, okay, I am a master at attracting the right people into my life. I am a magnet that just draws the right circumstances to me. I am a magnet for everything in life that I want, and it's coming to me faster than I ever imagined. Now, with those thoughts, how do you show up today? You'll stand a little bit taller. You'll smile a little bit more. You'll make more eye contact. You'll do the things, the inspired actions that brings all that stuff to you, right? This is the stuff we're going to be covering in the workshop. But for right now, just think about it. Describe how this new thought might change your actions and experiences today. And have a positive day. I love it, Wendy. So, are you ready to change? Are you ready and willing to change? Sometimes we're ready, but we're not willing, because it can take some inner reflection, and sometimes it's some deep stuff that can make you uncomfortable. I remember when I first started this process, I'll just share, when I first started my health coaching certification, what I really wanted was just to lose weight, right? Well, find out that my weight was like a buffer between me and the world. And it was the thing that served me for a very long time, even though I didn't think that's what it was. Well, it was. And one of these sessions that I had with my coach, I mean, I was digging deep and I was crying, snot coming out of my nose, all of that stuff. It was intense. But man, oh man, on the other side of that was great joy and confidence, and just feeling elated that I had released this stuff that fat was protecting me from. So obviously, since I still have some extra, there's some protection I got going on now. So do you see how that relates? And sometimes it can get uncomfortable to look at the stuff that we've got going on in our lives and in our hearts and our minds. But man, oh man, when you get on the other side of it, mwah, I'm telling you, your life will change. So I created the event this morning, and you should have all gotten an invitation. And so definitely go in and note that you'll be there or not be there. And my goal is to have the recording so that I can share it with anyone who wants to be there and can't. I know, Wendy, you had said that you were going to be traveling at that time and you wouldn't be able to be there live, and you will be greatly missed. But I will definitely have the replay to share with you, and I'll probably send it out in an email afterwards. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it for me and the changes for my life. And I'm looking forward to it for you and the changes that it will create in your life. Because all these things that we do every single day are powerful, right? I mean, it's amazing. And I know, Wendy, you've been to some of the workshops and the master classes and that kind of thing. And they can be by themselves very life-changing themselves, right? So this workshop is going to be diving in deeper, and I'm so excited to share with you guys. So I hope that you can be there. And just as another invitation, if you know that this things that we talk about in the mornings are powerful and they affect your life-changing for you. Yes, Wendy, yes. So if you know that this stuff changes your life and helps you and it gives you a better view for the day, then share it with one of your friends. And that means don't just hit the invite button, is to send them a private message, a direct message, and just tell them, I'm part of this amazing community, stand up and stand out. And I know you would benefit as much as I do. Here's the link. Please join me, answer the questions, and I'll see you there. Whatever it is that works for you, for your friend, because I really want to have a lot more people in the group that are like-minded. And if you're here and you get a lot of benefit from it, I know your friends would too. And I would love to have them come into our community and do all this with us. And I had a guest on my podcast last night that I referred to, and she does some amazing things. She's been a musician. She's now an actress. She's done relationship coaching. She's done, she helps people to rebrand themselves. There's so many things that she does, and she's agreed to come into the group probably in September. And I really don't know right now what we're even going to be talking about with her, because she's got such a big, wide range of things that she does for people. And so I'm going to be emailing. Thank you, Ellen. I'm going to be emailing with her in the next couple of days as I get her podcast actually published. And we'll set something up for September, but she will be there. And to be part of that, you have to be a member of the group, because I'm not feeding that out to anybody else. And so it's really important to invite your friends to be part of it. So all you have to do is tell them to go to VickiePoole.com, VickiePoole.com, and then they can be answer them and be part of the group. That's just the easiest link to give, because that one's so simple. But it is the Stand Up and Stand Out community, but it is We Stand Up and Stand Out. When is this, Ellen? I haven't got it scheduled with her yet. It'll be sometime in September. So I talked to her about it last night, and she said she would love to. And so I'm going to be reaching out to her within the next few days and seeing what we can figure out and what date it will be. So I will let you guys know, but just know it's coming in September. So I'm super excited. And, every time I have a guest on my podcast, they end up being so amazing. And a lot of them are just more than happy to come into the group and share something about them and what they do. And so she was one of them. And so I am looking forward to seeing what else is coming up, because I've got more podcasts scheduled this week. And who knows, I might have another person that's going to agree to come in September. Because right now with the workshop and all, I'm filled up with what I can allot time for. So September it is for anything else that's coming up. So definitely the workshop is the 20th. So next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And that is how to become the magnet in your own life. And we're going to do some deep dive into that. And I don't know, it depends how long it's going to last. I don't know if it'll be an hour. I don't know if it'll be 2 hours. I have no idea. It depends on how many people show up and how many questions there are and that kind of thing. And like I said, I'm probably going to just, right now I've got it set as a live in Facebook, but I may just give everybody the link and just say, join me here, and let's just do it that way. We shall see. But all right, so I have to pop off here now. It has been amazing having you with us this morning. And as Wendy so eloquently said, have a positive day. Take it as far as you can take it. And remember, our affirmation, let me pop it back up really quick. Our affirmation is, each day I consciously shape my thoughts, creating the life I love. And then our journal prompt, identify reoccurring negative thoughts you've had recently. And remember, put it in your notebook, your journal, put the date, the affirmation in the journal prompt, and then just get in some focused breath, and then just brain dump whatever comes up. How can you reframe it into a powerful, positive belief, and describe how this new thought might change your actions and experiences today? It's going to be a very powerful exercise for you. And, just reach out if you need some help. Let's see. My best gal pal and I talked for 1.5 hours last night about how we were both feeling and it being out of character for us. We allowed ourselves to admit to one another that what we are feeling, it isn't healthiest. We also were able to chat about what we want our lives to be and how we can work towards healthy changes. We're in a very different situation in our lives, but have such a sisterhood and there for one another. She knows about this group. I talk about it all the time. So helpful for me. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Lynn. It's wonderful to have a best gal pal and you can pull each other up. When it's a problem is when you just bring each other into despair a little bit more. But I love that you have a friend that you both help to pull each other out, and that's beautiful. All right, so let's see here. Have a truly creative day. Yes, I love that, Wendy. So spend some time with this today and open up your mind to how amazing life can be if you choose it. So have a truly creative day, and I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Mwah.